serving up a warm dish of the Triads Culinary Fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 152 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of May 4th through the 10th, 2020. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name's Ray Morgan.
And I'm Leah Metz.
And we're opening the recipe box. We are recording this episode, or I am recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studios in the lab at Industry Hill. We are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you very much. Now, this is not really any kind of surprise, but Ray and I are happy to officially announce that Leah is now a permanent co-host of this foodie machine. So welcome to you. We were going to announce that last week, but I wanted Ray to be here, and he had family duty he had to take care of, which quite commendable for that. And did you get everything moved?
Got it all moved. It's here. We're good to go.
Nice.
Got one more to go get today. We're bringing our youngest up for a week. He Friday turned 18.
Yeah.
We're going to have him up here and have a chance to spend a little birthday time with him for the coming week. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I have 11 days before mine turns 18.
Wow.
Cool.
So I'm excited for him.
I will say I'm glad to have some diversity on our podcast now. So it's not just two white guys doing this.
Yes, that's awesome.
Well, I appreciate that, I guess.
You guess.
What was that you told me, Leah? You said, I'm more a man than most men.
Right? I was going to say, I don't know what you've added here, but you added something. And God bless you.
Everyone.
Well, there are great things happening in Winston-Salem. As of today, all of the Michael family restaurants are open. Yay. Woo. I know Waldo's 2 weeks ago opened, Chin Chin and Yamas on Thursday opened, and Mama Zoe Michaels is open as of today. So
awesome.
That's fantastic. I know, Leah, you and I both had Yamas on Thursday.
At Thursday and
you
yesterday,
had Yamas last night. Yeah,
couldn't get enough of it, so we wanted to welcome them back as much as we could.
Yeah. So we
need our Yamas fix.
Yes, and then I went to Chin Chin on Friday, and that's when I saw Nicole, who is the daughter-in-law of Chris and Zoe. And each of the restaurants have a family component that, that works in there. And she came out to talk to me across the table, social distancing with her mask and everything. And that's when she told me that they were opening Mama Zoe's on today. And
awesome.
That's just awesome news. That this town needed that family. This town needed that food that is just so awesome. I was trying to get someone from the family to come on today, but they are so busy, especially probably today opening that fourth restaurant. So I'm hoping to have someone from the family this week, next week or the week after.
That'd be great.
And also, because of Diamondback Grill opening back up last Friday as well, I'm trying to get Kimberly to come on and talk about Diamondback. We had Diamondback on Saturday. I will say we feasted. And I invite you and even implore you to check out what the experience was on my Instagram
Your
account.
Instagram feed? Yeah, there were some good pictures on there.
Yeah, and they liked the pictures because they used them in their Facebook post today, so that was good. Cool. So let me go over just real quick a couple of things that we had. We started with Stephanie and I have a thing about calamari. We want to try calamari at any restaurant we go to just because that's It's one of those things. I think how someone treats their calamari is indicative of how they will treat the rest of their food. Because calamari, even though it's all what it is, it's kind of delicate, right? So you can undercook it, you can overcook it, you can have it where it's so greasy that the breading doesn't stick to it. It can be over seasoned. It can be a lot of things, chewy, rubbery. Once told my son it's the best tasting rubber band he'll ever have. But but so we tried it from there, and I will say that none of those issues happened here. The calamari, the squid was not greasy at all. The breading did not just fall off of it; it was on there tight. The seasoning was enough that you tasted seasoning and still the squid, and not just a bunch of seasoning and grease and oil, because that happens a lot. The stuff wasn't all over my fingers every time I took a bite, so that was really good. And it was Thai sweet Thai chili as a dipping sauce, but I think that's a perfect compliment for calamari. I love sweet Thai chili anyway. So calamari there, fantastic. But go check out the picture on Instagram. Next we had the lump crab hush puppies. Now, I am not a fan of crab cakes because I think it's usually bland crab with just a bunch of breading that just makes it's like wet bread in my mouth, and I don't like that. It's like I'm not a fish. I don't need to be fed wet bread. But this was certainly not that. These tasted like hush puppies, but there was enough tang from the lump crab in there to really give it life. And these were, I think the word I used to Stephanie when I ate the first one, and it had a chipotle aioli honey butter with it. I dipped the first one in there. I'm like, well, let's try this and see how it is. I think my words were, oh my. Oh my. And as much as I love the calamari, and I did, I would have rather had double those hush puppies. They were that good. Up next we had the gambas, which is this is what Kimberly explained to me on the phone. This is kind of their take on a kurete staple. Kurete is a high-end restaurant in Asheville from a world-known chef, and I've been there with the Beer Dads, and it was an experience, and it was one of my top 5 meals ever, and I've eaten in countries, and it was just one of the best things I'd ever had. So this was their take on it, and it had shrimp, and let me pull it up. I have the description here. So several of them, large sauteed jumbo shrimp over linguine, sauteed spinach, sherry, garlic, dried chilies, bacon, capers, and I love capers, even more spinach, parsley, and lemon. And they even had 2 bay leaves in there to accent the flavor. I mean, it was understood that you were going to take the bay leaves out, right? They were on top.
Yeah,
but
nobody eat that.
No, you don't want it. As much as it smells good and it makes everything else taste good, it does not taste good by itself. No. Bit her, like my ex-wife.
You'll know it if you ever eat one.
yeah, you will. You will. It takes a while to get that out of your mouth. But it was a little bit sweet from the sherry, a little bit of heat from the chilies and the garlic. It was savory from the shrimp and the bacon, a little bit slightly sour from the capers, and a lot of love from the chef. This was fantastic. I love when my pasta is done in olive oil and it has that coating of olive oil on there. And there's probably not much more than that, and whatever, the juices from the sauteed spinach that were all over this, but it was so so damn good. It was amazing. I told them that they need to kiss the chef because he deserved it. And then finally we had the what was it called? The roasted garlic ginger salmon, which had
Mm,
a sea salted,
Ooh.
crispy skin Norwegian salmon with fried rice, onions, peppers, and sauteed spinach.
mm.
And the first thing I said, and this is what I said in my post, but the first thing about that is I like my salmon not so cooked that it when you touch it with a fork it just falls apart. I like that you have to work with it just a little bit, but I also don't want it to be not done right. I mean, I like
Right.
raw salmon if I'm in the mood for sushi, but if I'm having sauteed or grilled or anything poached salmon, I want it done.
Yeah.
Um, and you went through there and it was still moist. I know people don't like that word, but with food, it's a good descriptor. It
Yeah.
was still it was still moist, but not undercooked, and the skin was crispy. So the contrast between those two was fantastic. I like red peppers. I don't like green peppers, but red peppers I do like, and with onions, and they were only accents in this rice, which I think is a good thing too. Rice stood on its own. I will say the spinach was there, but it was also a good accent for the salmon.
Mm.
Um, I love spinach and I love sauteed spinach. I love how all that's done, but it was just an afterthought to me, but it was still delicious. So I'm glad it was there. We also had two desserts. We didn't post about those because we didn't have them until last night. We had their pecan pie, or bourbon pecan
Mm.
pie, and a
Ooh.
peanut butter pie.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
I, I like their peanut butter pie. Whenever we go and they have that, I'm like,
yeah.
give me.
Oh yeah, and this was thick too. This thing was probably an inch and a half, 2 inches tall,
ooh.
and it was thick, thick. It was really good
Now I'm getting
stuff.
hungry.
Yeah,
I know,
that's
right?
why every time, every Monday, because I don't usually eat before we do this show, and when I leave here, I'm just dying to have some food.
Gotta eat something.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's what we had there, and they are back open and they are ready. I think the community's ready. They're right there, buried in the heart of Buena Vista. If you don't know they're there, you don't know they're there. But people need to know
Yeah.
that they're there.
Yeah. They are hidden. It's a destination. You got to know where you're going, or
Yeah,
you'll never just find them.
yeah,
Yeah. But to think, I mean, here's a restaurant that's been around, what, 30 something years
yeah,
in Winston-Salem?
yeah.
To see them opening back up, man, that's exciting.
Very. And Kimberly was excited about it too. She was kind of apprehensive, but still excited. So it was really good. Leah, incidentally, the original, well, I don't know about the original, but what was in the space I was talking about earlier where Trenoni is now, and then
Mhm.
there
Mm.
was a Jersey Mike's, and then it was East Coast Wings before it. That was Diamondback Grill. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so they've been uh, that spot's been home to several good things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
They're off Jonestown, just up from Country Club.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, anything happening on the south side of the list, Leah?
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, so on Friday, was it Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. Of course, I had to go and inspect in town's donuts. Um,
Oh,
mhm,
absolutely.
right,
Thank
just
you for sacrificing
mm,
for all of us to do that inspection.
yeah. And so they have some maple donuts that I just love, love, love. And then, of course, I had to play Donut Fairy to one of my buddies and leave some donuts on his front porch. But interestingly enough, while I was there was a woman in front of me who ordered 7 dozen donuts for Wake Forest Baptist for Sunday.
That's
Wow.
So
awesome.
they got a good treat on Sunday morning, first thing. And I know that probably helped out In Town Donuts, them just opening back up and getting that huge order
Oh
right
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So that was fun to see that happen right in front of me. Um, So of course, I had to partake in sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
They've been it's 2 Fridays now that they've opened up, and they make some delicious mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
So they had mac and cheese that you could get, and then you'd bring it home and bake it, cook it yourself. It had the directions on it, and of course that was some good stuff.
So
Um,
that's a combo between Miss Aura's and sweet potatoes, right? They're doing a mixed
yep,
menu, and you get everything from sweet potatoes, though.
yep, yep.
Okay.
And most of the time on their menu, their mac and cheese has the ham in it. As a
Mm-hmm.
connoisseur of their mac and cheese, but this one was just cheesy. Uh,
Which is
so good,
not a bad thing.
not a bad thing at all. And then, of course, their banana pudding, which is some good stuff too. Mm-hmm. Mel thought
Mm-hmm.
Mel thought I had brought home 3 containers of mac and cheese, and then when I dug in about 9 o'clock on Friday night, she was like, "Why are you eating more mac and cheese?" And I was like, "No, this is banana pudding." And she was like, "What? Banana pudding? Oh,
Why are you not sharing?
what?" So we enjoyed that, and let's see, Quiet Pints opening back up.
Yeah,
Um,
supposedly tomorrow their ordering system didn't work out exactly the way they were thinking it was, so they're pushing it back a day. So tomorrow they should be open.
we love us some QP. That's some good stuff right
Yep.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited about that. Spruce Street Garden Craft Tavern, they're open back up.
Yep.
So that's exciting to see them coming back around. And then Tanashi, which is over there by La Batana and the Walmart down there on, what was that,
Off
Hayes
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 Mall
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 Road
Boulevard.
Boulevard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boulevard? Yep. Um, they're opening back up. And of course, as you said, Waldo's and Yama's and Mama's O's. Um, so in the past 2 weeks, we've had a bunch of folks come back online, which has been awesome to see. And it's been great for my belly. And
I was looking over my list because we use the same basic list, but I think there's a couple of things that may be different because every once in a while we forget to update something on one or the other. But
mhm,
I was looking, we have 320 restaurants or establishments on our list, and we're down
mhm.
to only 62 being closed right now.
Mm.
Wow. That's great.
Whereas 2 weeks ago there were 88.
Yeah, 25% were closed. So it's good to see that
Yeah,
they're coming back.
yeah.
Well, and
Um,
the ones that are open, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're still just basically takeout, carry out, delivery kind of options.
Oh yeah, that's all they can
yep,
do
yep.
until the governor lifts his order, which I think they should still for restaurants have to maintain some social distancing, but
Mhm.
um, we're at least hopefully getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we have to say that yesterday we were up in Rural Hall and coming back into town and getting on Yama's website and ordering online, which it was through that Cash Now, but it was through their website,
Ciao now.
um, or Chow Now,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
um, and clicking and ordering, and then by the time we got into town and drove up, it was ready to go, and that was awesome. It was awesome to pick it up, and we were 5 minutes from home, and got home and uh, had a great meal. It just was so easy to do.
Yeah, that's the way it was
Great.
with for us and with Chin Chin. I'm sure they use the Chow Now app across all their restaurants, but it was so easy to order. You just go on. The hardest thing
Mhm.
I had on my phone, it was not wanting me to establish an account, so I had to do that
Mm.
online. But once you do that, it's fairly. You just log in, order it, and tell them you want to pick up or have them deliver it,
Yep.
and just it's really simple to do. A lot of places are going to that, so
Hmm.
it's good for
I
the
wonder when we're all said and done with this, if we're going to see most restaurants increasing their takeout and delivery options because we're getting used to using these apps. We're getting used
Hmm.
to ordering this stuff online. Yes, we've had it available for a while, but we just haven't utilized it that much. And well, all this is kind of forcing us to. So I'm curious to see how
Hmm.
people's patterns will change when we get the green light to go back to normal.
Yeah, that will be
Hmm.
interesting to me as well. Um, I believe the answer is probably at least for 50-60% of the restaurants, yes. Some of the ones that rely on butts in the seat will still rely on butts on the seat. But
Yeah.
some of the other restaurants that while yes they need people in the seats, can also have um, takeout business.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, in some ways,
Well,
for the restaurant, the takeout business is even better because you can turn that over and over and over and over and over and over. You're not waiting for somebody to get out of that table again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Not as
funny.
the servers.
Yeah, which is funny because like if you've ever gone to France or any place like that, you can observe that people will sit forever. And the
hmm.
servers are quite fine with that. You know why? Because they're paid a respectable wage. And those jobs are hard to come by.
Uh,
Here, it's hard to find people to fill the positions. And when they do, it's like, how many people can we pull in here? Because we won't pay them anything, but we'll let them make tips. But like, the first time we ever stepped foot in Paris, we ate at a place called the Sarah Bernhardt uh, restaurant. And there was a family that was there who looked like they were on like their third dessert. Uh, a family of like 12 and just sitting around.
wow.
And, um, and we came in and we got our stuff and we're like, okay, we'll get out of your way. She goes, why? No need to go anywhere. Said they've been here for 4 hours. and,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you
Wow.
don't need. She goes, we're perfectly fine with it. So yeah, it's a culture shock. One of the of many things, but that was a big culture shock going over there like that to see stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, I agree that the turnover or the turnaround needs to happen quick here for the servers to make any money. Um, but you're right, the um, takeout
The
thing can
convenience.
just
Yeah.
go 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 go.
Yeah.
Well,
From an owner's perspective, if you can put 20 takeouts in an hour, I mean, that's awesome
Yeah,
because you're still making your profit on every meal, but your overhead just went way down on all of those.
yeah,
hmm. Well, and we're still gonna want to go and sit
yeah,
and enjoy a beer or two, but it definitely, knowing that there are times that we're just breezing back into town and we just don't feel like sitting, to have that convenience is great. And then, like one of our favorites, La Batana, they have on their menu that they do not suggest doing takeout just because of, you know you want the best product in the moment. But they have certainly figured out the packaging, that we've had. The food's been just as enjoyable in the space as it is bringing it home, because they figured out the right container to put it in that holds the warmth to it. So
Hmm.
um, we've definitely been impressed by that.
well,
So those that have figured it out have done a good job at it.
I know that Peyton at Mission Pizza has
Hmm.
he's caused a ruckus or three online because he does not believe that his pizza is as good as is whenever you pull it straight out of that 1,000-degree oven and put it on
Hmm.
the table within 2 minutes, right? And I agree with him,
Hmm.
but sometimes you just have to. And so
Yeah.
I've talked with him and he's okay with it. He just says it's just not the best product. And he said, I'm not against takeout. I just don't think it's as good once you do. So,
Yeah.
and I get his
We
point.
did that Saturday. Here we went to Mi Casa as a great little taco place here in Mount Airy, locally owned. Fresh ingredients. The tacos are great, but we can't sit there. So yeah, it's 10 minutes to get it back to the house. Did they
Hmm.
cool off a little bit in that 10 minutes? Yeah. But you know what? It was still better than me having to fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Well,
Well, we just sat out on the picnic table out back and enjoyed a beautiful day and had a great meal. Um, yeah, I appreciate that there are restaurants where really you need to go, you need to be there. It's part of that ambiance. We're talking about Quiet Pine opening back up. I love to go out and sit out on there
Yep.
outside the area. It's a perfect place to have a drink and great conversation with some friends. Not everybody's got that. So
Mhm.
yeah, there are some places where you just need to, but in other places, nah, just grab it and go.
right.
Mhm.
Uh, we had tacos from a place, and it wasn't their fault, so I'm not going to mention the names. But everything was good, but the tacos were a little soggy. I usually don't
Uh,
like. I
Mm.
usually don't like hard tacos if I'm getting them normally, but for every once in a while, if I'm getting real Mexican food or something, I want hard tacos. And when I get them, they're the shells. You grab onto them and you bite into them. It's like instead of crunch, it's like So
yeah.
yeah. But you know what? Like you said, I didn't have to fix those tacos, and it still tasted like tacos.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's do some holidays.
Let's.
All right.
Uh, the today
This is a
is
big
the
day. We have to call it out that this is a big day.
this is a big day. This is May the 4th, 5/4. This is Star Wars Day. May the
Yes.
4th be with
Be
you.
with you. Yes. Love it.
Um, I have, in this past week, I have gone back to watch all the way from Phantom Menace through last night, Return of the Jedi,
Oh.
including Solo and Rogue One.
Well,
Today, Rise of Skywalker debuts on Disney Plus. So I was hoping to get um, everything in order and have seen them all. But when I added in Solo and Rogue One to keep the continuity, it threw me 2 movies behind. So this week, because I've seen all of them except for Rise of Skywalker because I don't go to the theaters. Um,
oh,
yeah,
Rise of Skywalker was good.
yeah. So
Oh, it was good. Yeah, I'm excited. I didn't realize it was back on Disney Plus now. So,
yeah.
oh, awesome. Yeah. Tonight's plans have been made.
There you go. Yeah. So I
Mm.
still have to watch The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and then I can watch Rise of Skywalker. But and then I'll be caught up. And also on Disney Plus, they're showing behind the scenes stuff from The Mandalorian because season 2 is on its way. And the season the series finale of Clone Wars is also on Disney Plus now too. So
Awesome.
I have to see that because I've watched everyone up to that point. So
I will say they've done a great job with Mandalorian.
yeah,
That's been fun.
yeah.
I'm real curious to see, all right, what's the next season? Because I read something a couple months ago. We keep calling it Baby Yoda. It's not Baby Yoda.
It's the
As
same
in-
species of Yoda, but it's not Yoda.
I understand in season 2, we learned the name.
I hope so because right now
Yeah.
even Disney's just calling it Baby.
Yeah, they're not giving us that name. They're specifically holding that back as a little nugget that we'll get later on.
Yeah.
I heard an interview with John Favreau, who's one of the producers, and yeah, he's like, "Y'all keep calling it Baby Yoda. It's not Baby Yoda.
It
But
just
is
looks like
amazingly
Baby.
freaking cute."
And one last thing I will say, if you've not seen, Ben Folds doing the audition for the Cantina Band on YouTube, you should. It's pretty funny. Talking
I
about
hadn't seen that. I'll go
killing
look
an
for
Ewok. So,
that.
well, in addition to it being May the 4th be with you, it's also National Orange Juice Day and National
Okay.
Candied Orange Peel Day.
Ugh, no thanks.
Why? What's wrong with that?
I'm just not a fan of the candied peel,
Yeah.
but the orange juice now, yeah.
Do you?
Especially if it's also National Vodka Day and we just combine the two.
Well, we can every day's National Vodka Day.
There
Uh,
you go.
Today we're all Russian, but um,
That's usually me after too much coffee.
so do you like orange marmalade or marmalade?
Oh, yeah. Love marmalade.
So it has orange
Orange
peels
marmalade's
in it.
great. I know. I didn't say that it was logical or
Okay.
consistent.
Well, you're right. You're right. You did. So- well, see, when like if I get an old fashioned or whatever, and if they squeeze it and light it on fire to get all the juices and oils and stuff come out, because there's a lot of flavor in those things. Orange zest is good too. Um, I'll even get all the alcohol off the orange peel, even pith and all. So I'm like, orange is my favorite fruit. So I'm good with the peel. I don't want to go eat it like an apple, of course, but
Right.
Nice.
No.
because it is a bit bitter. But there are
In small doses.
Yeah,
Mm.
I've never had a candied orange peel, but it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see how that.
Having grown up in Florida, we used to go to the orchards and actually get the oranges as they were ripened on the tree. And it's so hard to go to the stores here and have an orange when you've got that as your benchmark. It's so hard to have the ones that are just tasteless by comparison.
Yeah.
You were ruined pretty quickly by that.
Oh my gosh, because it wasn't just the oranges. We'd say, all right, give us a gallon of orange juice. And we'd watch the oranges go through the machine and get squeezed. So, yeah, it was as fresh as you could possibly have it. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Nice. And oddly enough, today is also International Respect for Chickens Day.
Because chickens have been disrespected so much in this world.
No respect. No respect. It's celebrating chickens and protests their suffering and abuse in cockfighting, agribusiness, experimental research, and so on. Agribusiness, that's chicken like we eat chicken and eggs. I do not necessarily respect the International Respect for Chickens Day.
No. Now, love chicken.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I respect chicken, but not the the whole idea behind the idea is kind of stupid. So I'm gonna just say on that and move on.
Move on.
On the 4th of May in 1494, Columbus landed at Jamaica and met the Arawak Indians. The Arawak used Jamaican pimento, which is what we call allspice, to season and smoke meat, usually pigs, the foundation upon which Jamaican jerk is founded.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. I love some Jamaican jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's pork,
It's a nice
whether it's
flavor
chicken,
profile.
that, yeah. In 1626, on the 4th, Dutch explorer Peter Minuit landed on what is now Manhattan in New York City. In 1942, on the 4th, wartime food rationing began in the United States. In 2003, the first cloned mule was born at the University of Idaho. It was called Idaho Gem, Gem, not Jim. On the 4th, in 2012, Canada stops production of its penny. The coins are withdrawn completely from circulation on February 4th the following year. I wish we would get rid of the penny.
They're useless.
Yeah. It costs more money to make them than they're worth. It costs about 3 cents to make them. They're worth 1 cent. I think it's just useless. Like you said,
We have better ways to use the copper.
Yeah, absolutely. And just round everything up and stop it.
Well, I mean, so many people are like, oh, if you do that, prices are going to skyrocket. They didn't do that in Canada when they got rid of their penny. So,
no.
Yeah.
Nope. Sure didn't. All right, on the 5th of May, it's Cinco de Mayo, of course. 5th of
Yeah.
May.
Woo-hoo.
Another
Um,
excuse.
yeah, another excuse to drink. I wonder if Corona sales will go back up.
I'm wondering if they'll ever recover from the
From
virus.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like the commercials that they're
Unfortunate choice of
doing.
names.
The commercials that they're doing for it. They're trying to distance themselves while still being them. Also in 1989, one of the biggest tornadoes
Oh.
in Winston history came through on May 5th. I think I've told this story before, but Leah hasn't heard it. I'll tell it. I'm in a storytelling mood today. I had a date with a girl. Ray, you don't know her, I don't think, but you know her husband, Tim Johnson.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
His wife is my high school sweetheart. So we had a date, and she had a friend of hers with her, and we were in the movie theater that is no longer there at Haynes Mall, where Texas Roadhouse and Golden Corral is now.
Yep.
And we were watching Pet Cemetery, and all of a sudden the lights went out about the time the cat Church jumped up on the bench in the basement. Silence. Some kid in the front, some little, I don't know how old, it couldn't be more than probably 12, 13 years old, yelled, "If you don't turn that movie back on, I'll come back there and kick your ass."
Nice.
And everybody just laughed. And we still didn't know what was going on because we didn't hear anything. So they came in and told us that we would have to leave the building, and they would give us rain checks to come back within like 2 weeks or something to see the movie and its completion. And on leaving, I inquired what was going on, and they said that it was a tornado had been spotted in the area.
Oh.
And not only had it been spotted, it devastated a lot of areas. The British Woods area, I had to drive through to get home. I had to drive around trees. It was bad. It was an F5 tornado.
Wow.
Yeah, tore the crap out of parts of town. And when I got home, my mom's like, where actually they just said in the theater, they just said it was a storm, a really bad storm. When I got home, my mom told me it was a tornado, because we didn't have phones that we carried around with us back then. It was, for any of those listening that are under the age of 30, we actually had to use landlines or wait. Mail letters. So it was one of the biggest storms in Winston-Salem history.
I remember it distinctly. I had just moved to Winston-Salem in December of '88, and we were living down off South Stratford Road in some apartments across from Piedmont Concrete and where Budd Industries and all is. There were multiple trees down across the road. We were actually out waiting on somebody to come have dinner. I forget what it was called then, but it's where Putters is now, over off of University. It took us 2.5 hours to get from the Coliseum area back to the apartments down on South Stratford. There were so many trees down all over the place. We had multiple trees down at the apartment complex. We were fortunate. We were one of the few apartments that actually didn't have a tree sitting on it. But yeah, I remember watching a guy, because Stratford was only 2 lanes at that point.
I was getting ready to say that was back when it was only 2 lanes and went nowhere.
Yeah. And this guy in a Porsche comes flying down through there, cannot drive down the road. So he goes off the road into the ditch, up on the railroad tracks, drives down the railroad tracks, and back out onto the road when he got past all the trees. I'm like, this guy must have somebody at home that's in desperate need because I mean, he trashed this car.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, I will never forget that night. And to see Winston-Salem pitch black, I mean, you
Mm,
could not see your hand in front of your face.
Right.
Wow, it was, yeah, that was an astounding weekend.
Yeah.
wow.
It was rough.
Yeah.
On the 5th, it's also National Hoagie Day, and I like a good hoagie.
Oh, I like a
Oh,
good hoagie.
On the 5th, in 1809, Mary Keyes of South Killingly, Connecticut, received a patent for a technique for weaving straw with silk and thread. She was the first woman to receive a U.S. patent. Congratulations to her. One of many. In 1893, panic hit the New York Stock Exchange and the stock market crashed. By the year's end, the country was in a severe depression. Over 15,000 businesses go bankrupt and more than 600 banks closed. And that was not even the Great Depression. That was just in 1893. In 1925, on the 5th, John T. Scopes was arrested for teaching Darwin's theory of evolution in a Tennessee public school.
Scope's monkey trial. Yep. I've been to the courthouse where that happened.
Oh.
Still there. Yeah. One of my favorite quotes from all time was from the play written about that. It called Inherit the Wind. One of the guys said, God created man in his own image, and man, being a gentleman, returned the favor.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes. In 1936, a patent was granted to Edward Ravenscroft of Glencoe, Illinois, for the first bottle with a screw cap and a pour lip. Not pour as pour lip, but pour as in pouring liquid. Would I? Hair lip? Okay, so in 1961 on the 5th, Jim Gardner and Leonard Rawl opened the first franchise Hardee's fast food restaurant in Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
So I didn't realize that Hardee's was a North Carolina firm.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. In 1978, another franchise, Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield opened Ben and Jerry's homemade ice cream and crepes in a former Burlington, Vermont gas station. On the 6th of May, it's National Beverage Day, which, what day isn't? It's also a National Crepe Suzette Day, and one I can totally get behind, International No Diet Day.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I'm on a seafood diet myself.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I eat anything I can see.
Yeah.
In 1833, on the 6th, John Deere developed the first steel plow.
Yes, nice.
In 1851, John Gorey patented an ice making machine, the first U.S. patent for a mechanical refrigerator. In 1889, the World's Fair Exposition Universelle opened in Paris, France. The main symbol and entrance was the newly constructed Tour d'Eiffel, or as we call it, the Eiffel Tower.
That's right.
Yep. And they wanted to build one for the Chicago one, but they said that they needed something of their own. So,
no copycats.
Yeah, right. Staying in Paris in 1929, the famous Paris restaurant La Tour d'Argent served its 100,000th signature dish, the Canneton Tour d'Argent, which is pressed duck. Founded in 1582, so it's one of the oldest restaurants in the world. The restaurant introduced the signature dish in 1890 and numbered each duck served. The 1 millionth duck was served in 2003. Now, I looked up Tour d'Argent, and of course it is temporarily closed, as it should be. But I looked up the last menu they had available in March, and it's pretty crazy pricing. The autour de déjeuner, which is the daily specials, are priced at 105 euros per person. So 105 euros per person equals out to be, um, hold on, $114 per person.
Doggers.
But wait, there's more.
That might be some meal for 114
Right.
Well,
bucks.
I'll tell you what it is. It's wild pike dumpling. This is 3 courses: wild pike dumpling, duck foie gras. That's the first course. The pike perch and poultry from Daudet is second. Then you have the bananas, what they're calling banana, which is lime mousse, banana flamed in rum and crusty pearls and vanilla sorbet. And then the chocolate coffee.
Ooh.
If you want cheese included, it's 130 euros per person, which equals out to
Wow.
be, hold on, right now, current rate's $141.75 per person. There is also the Les Renommes de la Tour, which is 340 euros per person.
Whoa.
Yeah, which equals out, I think it's around 375, $370 per person. Per person,
Wow.
which is pate in a pastry crust, goose foie gras, um, imperial caviar, sole, royale style duckling from Chalon, and a baba with Tour d'Argent champagne. So it's you're paying. I'm sure the food is delicious. I'm not at all denying that that's probably one of the best meals you're going to have. However, I think they're playing up the little bit on the fact that they are probably one of the oldest restaurants in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're paying for that.
I don't know
For
how,
sure.
because I've not looked in a while. The French Laundry in California is probably somewhere comparable in the prices. Maybe Delmonico in New York City, I'm not sure. But these older restaurants, they're certainly playing up to their status, I guess.
Yeah.
And people are obviously willing to pay that because it's been around
Mhm.
since what, 1582. So yeah.
Now, I'm guessing you didn't go there when you were in Paris.
No, I did not. The
I'd be
most
like, can I have a glass of water? Okay, I've been there.
yeah. I would like to stand outside of it and take a picture though. Next time I go, and I do plan on going back eventually, I will do that. But yeah, what's funny about Paris though is the house wine is cheaper than a Coke.
Mm-hmm.
House wine equals out to be about $2.50. A Coke is about $4.
Wow.
So we drink a lot of wine. Yes, I'll take the house wine.
Well, and
Yeah.
we were in Lyon last year for the Women's World Cup soccer matches,
Mm-hmm.
and had the opportunity to go to I want to say it was a 3-star, but looking at the prices, it was like 90 euros, so like 110
Yeah.
for a seating, and it was just like, I'm sure it would be fantastic. And I was pretty sure looking at the menu that we'd be hungry afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, we passed on it, but some of our friends went and they said it was great. But yeah, that's a expensive price for a meal. Whew.
Yeah. The
Mhm.
I look at Victoria and Albert's in Disney World, which is their top notch, and that's $130, I think, per person. And I thought that was crazy until I looked at this menu. So,
Yeah.
am I saying that I wouldn't eat there? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. If someone
Right.
else is paying for it, I
Yeah.
absolutely would eat there.
Mm-hmm.
in a
Oh,
heartbeat.
somebody else paying. Let's go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. On the what were am I on the 6th in 1959, Icelandic gunboats fired on British trawlers during their cod war over fishing rights. In
It's
1980,
a cod war, not a cod peace war.
that's right. That's right. Every time I think of a cod piece, I think of three things. Well, I mean, you have to think of four things, but the three things that I'll talk about is Gene Simmons, because he wore one.
Yeah.
The guy from Cameo, because he always had that red one. Larry Blackman, I think's his name. And A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Disturbing movie.
A very good movie, but yes, disturbing movie. I recommend watching it more than once because you won't understand the first time. In 1988, Donut Gate happened after an NHL playoff game. New Jersey Devils coach Jim Schoenfeld was suspended for telling the referee Don Korosky to eat another donut, you fat pig.
Ooh.
Well,
Today, you know, that was in 88. Today, people are like, whatever.
Yeah.
Because he probably would.
yeah, based on today's standards, it's like that's almost a pleasant greeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In 1994, Queen Elizabeth II and French President Francois Mitterrand formally opened the Channel Tunnel, what we call the Channel, between France and Britain, the first land link between Britain and Europe. I have been in that channel on my honeymoon from London to Paris. Actually, yeah,
Nice.
London to Paris. Yeah. Where am I? Oh, 5/7 on the 7th of May. It's National Roast Leg of Lamb Day and National Homebrew Day, which was actually designated by Congress in 1988. And we will also it's also Homebrew Day, the first Saturday in May. So on the 7th in 1657, King Louis XIV of France prohibits the sale of liquor to Indians in New France, which we know today as Canada. In 1718, the traditional date celebrating the founding of the city of New Orleans by Jean-Baptiste de Moin de Bienville of the French Mississippi Company. In 1847, the AMA, the American Medical Association, was founded in Pennsylvania. On the 7th, in 1987, Shelley Long, who played cocktail waitress Diane Chambers, makes her final appearance as a regular on the TV show Cheers. One of my all-time favorites. Yep. We binge watched. We didn't really binge watch. We watched about... we watched the entire series, but it took us like 7 or 8 months to do so. Whereas during this epidemic, we have gone from the beginning to the last season of Roseanne in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
Because we have not a whole lot else to do. On the 8th of May, it's National Coconut Cream Pie Day. It's also Have a Coke Day. And that is...
smile.
And a smile.
And a smile.
And shut the... okay. And that's what Eddie Murphy told, or Richard Pryor told Eddie Murphy, right? Tell Bill Cosby to have a Coke and a smile and shut the up. It's National Have a Coke Day because on the 8th in 1886, Coca-Cola was first sold to the public at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta, Georgia.
Come along since then.
Yeah. In 1914, Congress passed a law designated the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day. On the 8th in 61, the U.S. Department of the Interior opened the first practical seawater desalination plant in Freeport, Texas. It could produce about 1 million gallons of water at a cost of about $1.25 per 1,000 gallons. So that's a pretty good price.
Mm-hmm.
In 1980, the World Health Organization declared that smallpox had been eradicated worldwide.
Oh.
On the 8th, in 2000, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors approved legislation banning discrimination based on weight or height. The ban became law on May 26, when then Mayor Willie Brown signed the legislation. On the 9th of May, it's National Butterscotch Brownie Day.
Mm.
I don't know anything butterscotch I don't like. I'm just a fan of butterscotch.
Mm-hmm.
The 9th is also National Moscato Wine Day. The Moscato, or Muscat in Italian, is one of the oldest known grape varieties. In 1785, on the 9th, the beer pump handle was patented by Joseph Brahma, and Greek life everywhere thanks him for that.
I made the beer handle.
Yeah, here's do some keg stands with me. In 1868, the town site of Reno, Nevada, named after Civil War General Jesse Reno, was officially established.
Nevada.
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 Not Nevada, Nevada.
Mm-mm.
Is it Colorado?
Being as somebody who lived in Reno, Nevada for most of her life.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do they have a
would've
big
said
celebration on the 9th of May?
No, well, maybe. I don't know. I never paid attention to that. But Halloween is the day that Nevada was officially a state.
Okay.
And so we celebrate that day. So it gets confused with getting off for Halloween, but it's really you get off because it's Nevada Day.
West
So
Virginia's birthday is on June 23rd. No, June 20th. June 20th, yeah. I don't know about North Carolina. I wasn't born here.
I wasn't born here either.
When's Tennessee's birthday?
I don't know. I wasn't born in Tennessee.
When's Florida's birthday?
I don't know. I was
I
born
wa-
there.
He skipped all the relevant state history.
When was Mars' birthday then?
Where am I?
You're in the studio.
Yeah.
Industry.
You're funny.
The rest of us are out here in the world. And you're in the studio. We're pretty sure.
Winston-Salem.
Not Harry.
And I forget the date, but whatever Daniel Butner's birthday is Winston-Salem's birthday.
All right.
That's cool.
In 1949, on the 9th, the first self-service coin-operated laundry or laundrette in Britain opened in Queensway, London. In 1992, a record brown trout weighed over 40 pounds and was caught in Arkansas.
Wow. God, that would have been huge.
I don't know.
Like a size of a Labrador. I mean, a Labrador weighs about, between 40 and 70 pounds.
That's
Good
a small
Lord.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a toddler. In 2016, President Obama signed the National Bison Legacy Act, declaring the North American bison the official national mammal of the United States. They make good burgers and pizzas, too. The 10th of May in 2020 is Mother's Day. It's also National Shrimp Day. Two good reasons to celebrate. On the 10th, yep, and mom, I hope.
Yes. I'm just gonna leave it right there.
All right.
or other mothers that you have adopted and claimed as your other mothers.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. I have been called a mother.
Oh,
In 1869, on the 10th, a golden spike was driven at Promontory Summit, Utah, joining the Union Pacific and Central Pacific Railroads, officially
Yeah,
completing the U.S. Continental Railroad.
that was a big day back in the day. It was very exciting.
Yep. Uh, the television show Hell on Wheels was based on, it's historical fiction, but it was based on the Union Pacific being built.
Cool.
In 1876, the Centennial Exhibition opened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the signing of Declaration of Independence. It was the first official World's Fair in the United States. The fair closed on November 10th in 1876, and it was at this fair that Charles Elmer Hires introduced his new drink, root beer.
Hmm.
ooh.
So it's been around that long.
Yeah, root beer's been around for a while.
Do you know where the next World's Fair is going to be?
Kernersville,
Dubai.
Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Do they still do
So we
those?
should
I didn't even know
all
they still
go.
do it.
Uh, we had something that came up about the World's Fair within the last month or so, and so I remember looking it up. Yeah, the next one's going to be in Dubai. I'm like, oh, that'll be cool. I'll just stop by.
Yeah, stop by Dubai. Um, and because you were in Tennessee for the one in Knoxville,
In
right?
Knoxville, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. I will say it was. I was in high school at the time. We got a chance to go and go through a bunch of the exhibits. Some of them, like the Chinese exhibit, was supposed to be some amazing presentation, but the line was over 3 hours to go through it. So I'm like,
Wow.
I went to the lesser pavilions because you could get in and out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe's hot dog stand. Look at
Yeah.
that's the hot dog stand. Joe did this.
Hey, I know Joe. Joe's great.
Eat it, Joe's.
World class hot dogs.
Yeah, eat it, Joe's. Where am I at? Then 1898, the first vending machine law was passed in Omaha, Nebraska. Is that how you say that? Nebraska? I'm
I don't
kidding.
know.
I'm kidding. in 1903, is it Oregon or Oregon?
It's origami.
Oregon.
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 Oregon. Is the capital of Kentucky Louisville or Louisville?
Louisville.
Actually, the capital of Kentucky is Frankfort. So,
I figured that was a trick question. That's why I was like, what is it?
You got me.
1903, on the 10th, the King Edward Hotel opened in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, with 400 rooms and 300 baths. I think they've caught up with the baths now, but it was advertised as completely fireproof. The hotel has had numerous additions and renovations and is currently owned by Omni Hotels. Omni is a great, being a former travel agent, Omni is a great hotel chain. They do great work. My favorite of their restaurants, their hotels, is the Omni Parker House in Boston.
Mm.
And where the Parker House roll come from, and the Boston cream pie. And that's where Charles Dickens read or presented Christmas Carol for the first time. Even though he was British, he was staying here. In 1908, the first Mother's Day observance took place during church services in Grafton, West Virginia, and in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In 1924, the legislature of Alberta, Canada, votes to end prohibition. Thank you guys for not being stupid any longer. In 2010, a 10-year-old third grade student in Texas was given 1 week's detention for being in possession of a candy bar at lunchtime. The candy bar was also confiscated.
Wow, the audacity to be having a candy bar.
Mm-hmm. You're in big
Oh,
trouble now, son.
travesty.
Wow.
Dang.
Well,
Glad justice happened.
well, well, that's your food, holidays, and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ehler at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, be thoroughly disgusted that someone's paying $370 a person for a meal at Le Tour d'Argent in Paris, while we all secretly would like to be in Paris having a meal at Le Tour d'Argent. So, thanks, James Ehler.
Thank you, James.
The Man Who Hates the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables Network, which, along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fin Interference, Apartment 5B, Beeswax, Vinyl, and more, Sipping NC, and Wheeler's Dog, now 2 times a week. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media links for each there as well. We'd greatly appreciate if you visit our sponsors, Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. Did you see Ed's video?
I did. That was great.
Yeah. Our friend Ed Dean, who is a travel agent and part of our networking group and works for ServPro of West Forsyth County, he did a video about how easy it is to get drive-through food from Carrabba's. He said this is one of the best setups ever. So, and I had to point out that's my buddy Daniel Butner, because Daniel Butner rocks.
Yep. I thought it was funny. Somebody else called Ed out and was like, I didn't see you pick up any food. He's like, yeah, I already did that once. I did that the first time, but was so impressed I had to go back and show you their setup.
That's good. Carrabba's takes the community it serves very seriously, and having a fantastic franchisee like Daniel certainly does not suck. Follow Carrabba's on social media and on carrabbas.com. Washington Perk and Provision Company is open. They are located at 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything at the Perk: local fruits and veggies, meat, dairy from local sources, bingo bango sodas made right here in Winston-Salem, with Wolfie's Custard, owned by Washington Perk, made here in Winston. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they are Washington Perk, or at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. The Humblebee Shop is doing a collaboration, right, with West End Coffee House. Dana Moody and Brittany are teaming up to whipping up the batter on some delicious desserts. We'll go with that. Cakes and muffins, be it regular, vegan, gluten-free, pies, holiday things, Mother's Day things. They are just kicking some butt. The Humblebee Shop and Weston Cafe, or not cafe, Weston Coffee House, wants to challenge your perception of Scratch Made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, or visit thehumblebeeshop.co.
That's SHOPPE.co.
Keep an eye on the blog and this podcast and our social media, of course, to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email, tim@themanwhohatetown.com, or learmetz@gmail. If you're still...
You're getting so good at that.
Thank you. I had to stop for just a second and think, did I get that right? Okay. Or on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, instant messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man8 the Town. On Instagram, we are Man8 the Town. And now we invite you to call and leave a voicemail for a podcast, any podcast on the TLD network. You can call 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422.
Numb.
Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, it's 336-422-NUM or 6862. And this is
whether you're comfortably numb.
That's right. I am very comfortably numb. This is a reminder to all listeners, and it's just good practice, not just for now, but always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm soap or warm water and soap. Soap can be warm too. Doesn't have to be antibacterial soap, just real soap. Sing happy birthday or another brick in the wall, or oops, I did it again, whatever.
Oh, you had to bring that into the mix? Man.
Well, at least it
Not
wasn't
gonna-
some Justin
Yeah.
Bieber song. I could have said Justin Bieber or something like that.
That would have been just as bad.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. How about Taylor Swift?
Ugh. No thanks.
You know, at what point does she realize maybe it's me? She's always writing how bad she's being treated, but you know what? Maybe it's you, girl.
Maybe so. At a certain point, you're the common denominator to all those situations.
That's right. One of these things is not like the other. It's you. All right, well, my name's Tim.
My name's Ray.
And I'm Leah.
And we're closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit.
Yamas.
The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.